Disclaimer: this story is fueled by rumors, fan theories, internet sleuthing, and pure speculation. But that's exactly what makes it so irresistible. So grab your popcorn, because what you're about to hear might not be confirmed, but it's too wild to ignore. What if one of the most talked about love triangles in pop culture history was never what we thought? What if behind the headlines, the blurry paparazzi photos, and the endless social media drama was a totally different story? You've heard the whispers: Selena, Justin, Hailey, a surprise proposal, a shocking rejection, and a decision that flipped the script on what it means to choose yourself. But here's the twist: no one really knows what went down behind closed doors. All we have are clues, timelines, interviews, and one now viral podcast moment that cracked the mystery wide open. So buckle up, because whether you're a ride-or-die Selenator, a lifelong believer, or just a sucker for a good love story gone sideways, this is the theory that has everyone asking. Did Selena Gomez really say no to Justin Bieber's marriage proposal? And if so, why? Let's dive in. The truth about the love triangle that had everyone whispering and guessing? It's finally out, and it's nothing like what people imagined. Picture this: you're 25, your career's on fire, you're getting Grammy buzz, running a booming beauty empire, and starring in hit TV shows. Then, bam, your longtime on-and-off boyfriend suddenly proposes. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But for Selena Gomez, it felt like anything but. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. It's totally free and helps us keep making the stories you love. Stick around, because when Justin Bieber allegedly popped the question, Selena didn't hesitate. She didn't cry. She didn't even blink. She said no just like that. And now, years later, she's finally breaking her silence. But what if the real reason she said no wasn't about Hailey, or drama, or Justin's messy past? What if it was something way deeper, something personal, raw, and unexpectedly relatable? Let's go beyond the glitz, the headlines, and the heartbreak to uncover why Selena Gomez said no to that proposal, and why fans are now seeing the Selena-Justin-Hailey love triangle in a whole new light. Back then, people saw them as the perfect match. Selena, the Disney darling with a heart of gold. Justin, the boy next door from Canada who turned into a global phenomenon. From his breakout hit Baby to millions of believers around the world, their chemistry was undeniable. We saw them laughing over ice cream, walking hand in hand by the ocean, sharing tender moments that had fans totally obsessed. But behind those perfect pictures, there was pain. Selena was silently battling anxiety and lupus. Justin was fighting his own demons in front of the whole world. They were just two young people trying to grow up under a microscope, holding everything together the best they could. But was that ever enough? Was love ever truly enough? After endless breakups and makeups, something changed. In 2017, after Selena's life-threatening kidney transplant, Justin suddenly came back into her world. She was healing, emotionally and physically, and fans were sure. This time, it's real. This is forever. But something felt off. Why didn't it last? What really happened? At first, all the engagement talk felt like classic internet chaos. Fan theories, blurry photos, wild rumors. Then, in a heart-spilling podcast interview in 2025, Selena confirmed what many had only guessed. Yes, Justin really did propose. I believe he was serious, she admitted. In that moment, I think he truly felt like we were meant to be. But the real shocker? Her next words: I didn't. She turned him down. Not out of anger. Not out of spite. She said no because, for the first time, she chose herself. In a world where women are constantly expected to fix, save, or wait for men to change, Selena flipped the script. She chose her own peace. So what made her walk away? Was it fear? Was it bad timing? Or was it something even more powerful? She said no because she didn't want to lose herself again. And that's the part nobody saw coming. The same girl who once sang "the heart wants what it wants" finally listened to something stronger: her mind and her gut. So what did all of this mean for Justin? This part of the story lit up the internet, fueling wild fan theories and sparking non-stop Reddit debates that still haven't stopped. Justin, being Canadian, had been living in the US for quite a while. Then in 2018, he married Hailey Baldwin, and shortly after, filed for a green card through their marriage. Coincidence? Or was love tangled up in something a little more strategic? Selena never directly addressed the speculation, but she did say this: People have their reasons for the choices they make. But I couldn't say yes to something that was based on fear, pressure, or someone else's timeline. Simple, but powerful. Maybe Justin was ready to speed ahead, but Selena? She needed space. And let's be honest, haven't most of us felt that same pressure at some point? That push to say yes to something big, even when your heart's screaming not yet. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or a life-changing move, sometimes the strongest move you can make is hitting pause. So how did fans react when Selena dropped this truth bomb? The second clips from her podcast interview hit TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Social media blew up. Viewers couldn't stop talking about it. Wait, she didn't say no because of him? It was for her own peace. That message hit hard and hit home. Fans rushed in with support, praising her growth and courage. One person even said, "She's showing us what self-respect looks like." But the biggest twist? It didn't come from fans. It came from Hailey Bieber. She reportedly liked a tweet praising Selena for putting herself first. Was that a genuine show of respect, or just sharp PR? Either way, the internet noticed. Because here's the heart of it. Selena's decision wasn't just about Justin. It was about finally choosing herself. And for anyone who's ever stood at that same emotional crossroads, her moment felt incredibly real. During the interview, Selena said something that stuck with people everywhere. "I didn't want to look back and wonder what might have happened if I just gave myself more time to grow into someone I could be proud of." She chose herself. She chose peace. She chose Selena. And let's be real, don't we all want that? Don't we all just want to feel safe enough to choose ourselves? When you strip away the lights, the cameras, and the nonstop headlines, what's left is something deeply relatable. It's about knowing your limits. It's about hearing that tiny inner voice saying, "Not yet." And it's about realizing that love, real love, should never cost you your peace of mind. Whether you're 25 or 45, single, taken, or somewhere in between, Selena's story reminds us. You can love someone and still walk away. You can care deeply and still say, "This isn't right for me." That's not weakness, that's real growth. And now, Selena isn't just surviving, she's soaring. Rare Beauty is on track to become a billion-dollar brand. She's producing hit shows, and her music? It's raw, honest, and filled with emotion. But the biggest win of all, she's actually happy. And maybe that's what it all comes down to. Because real happiness doesn't come from being next to someone. It comes from being fully at peace with yourself, even when you're standing alone. So if you're healing, heartbroken, or just trying to stay afloat, let Selena's journey be your reminder. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. Selena didn't say no because she was scared. She said no because, for the first time, she valued herself enough to walk away. That's not just strength, it's serious power. So ask yourself, have you ever felt pushed to say yes, even when something deep inside you was screaming no? So many of us have been there. Tell us in the comments. We want to hear your story. And remember, the boldest move isn't always sticking to someone else's script. Sometimes, it's choosing to write your own. What would you have done in Selena's place? Feeling inspired? Curious? Emotional? Don't keep it bottled up. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. We're all out here trying to figure life out. And stories like this remind us, you're not alone. Saying no wasn't a sign of weakness. It was the beginning of something way stronger. It was a choice to walk away from pressure, chaos, and even a love that once felt like everything, just to reconnect with herself. This is the real story of how Selena let go of the fairy tale the world expected and decided to write her own version instead. For years, the media shoved one narrative at us. Selena Gomez trapped in a love triangle, bouncing between headlines about Justin Bieber and the constant comparisons to Hailey Baldwin. But beyond all the trending hashtags and paparazzi flashbulbs was a real person, struggling, healing, and finally learning how to tell her story. From her Disney Channel beginnings to topping the charts, Selena lived her life under nonstop scrutiny. And her connection with Justin? That wasn't tabloid gossip. It was deep, emotional, and full of real love and real heartbreak. Fans rooted for them. People believed in their spark. They dreamed of a fairy tale ending. But that dream came with a heavy cost, especially for Selena. By 2017, after endless breakups and dramatic makeups, Justin found his way back into her life, right when she was most vulnerable, fresh off a kidney transplant. To fans, it felt like destiny. The ultimate reunion. But to Selena, it felt different. The love was still there, but the clarity wasn't. And when Justin reportedly dropped to one knee and asked her to marry him, she didn't pause. She didn't second guess. She said no. Not because she didn't care, but because, at last, she cared enough about herself. In a 2025 podcast that sent shockwaves across the internet, Selena confirmed what fans had suspected for years. Yes, Justin did propose. Yes, his feelings were real. But no, she wasn't ready to say yes. At that point in my life, she shared, I was just starting over. I had been through so much, physically, emotionally, mentally. I was learning to love myself again, and I couldn't bring someone else into that process until I knew who I was. That kind of choice? It's terrifying. So many women are taught to believe that love should rescue, fix, or complete them. But Selena didn't fall for that fantasy. She didn't want to be saved. She wanted to stand strong on her own. Her decision wasn't dramatic. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't anger. It was about survival, about protecting her peace and giving herself the space to grow. Selena walked away from someone she loved because staying would have meant losing the person she was finally becoming. That kind of decision doesn't come with fireworks. It's quiet. It's personal. And it changes everything. She once sang the heart wants what it wants, but now her mind and her soul were louder. And for the first time, she was ready to listen. Naturally, everyone had questions. Was Justin rushing things? Was she under pressure? Was it just the wrong time? Some fans couldn't help but notice the timing. Around the same time Justin reportedly proposed to Selena, he, still a Canadian citizen, was dealing with visa complications. Then suddenly, after marrying Hailey Baldwin, he applied for U.S. residency through their marriage. Was that a love story? Or was something else going on behind the scenes? Selena never accused Justin of anything shady. She kept it real. All she said was, I couldn't make a lifelong decision based on fear, pressure, or someone else's timing. That one quote said it all. It wasn't about calling him out. It was about being honest with herself. Once that podcast aired, social media exploded. Fans couldn't get enough of her raw honesty. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, it was everywhere. And one powerful message kept surfacing over and over again. She didn't say no because of him. She said no for herself. Even Hailey Bieber reportedly liked a tweet that praised Selena for choosing healing. Support? Shade. PR move? No one knows for sure, but everyone was talking about it. And for once, all the drama died down. The noise quieted. People really listened. Because Selena's choice wasn't what the world expected. It went against everything women are so often told. To wait, to fix, to hold on and hope. But she did the opposite. She chose self-respect. And now, she's not just surviving. She's absolutely thriving. Rare Beauty is on track to become a billion-dollar brand. She's producing must-watch TV. Her music? It's raw, emotional, and bursting with meaning. But above everything else, Selena found peace. And that's what makes this story hit so deep. Because it's not just about who you love. It's about how much you love yourself. Selena's journey proves something powerful. You don't need a partner to feel whole. You don't need a ring to feel worthy. And you definitely don't need to rush just because someone else is ready. Her happiness today? It comes from setting clear boundaries, knowing her worth, and giving herself the time she needed. She's shown us all that healing is never a straight line. That real strength? It doesn't always make a scene. And that, yeah, you can still miss someone, while knowing in your heart, you're better off without them. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've had to walk away from something you loved, even when it tore you apart. Or maybe you're still in the messy middle, figuring it all out. And guess what? That's okay. Selena's story is your reminder. You can love someone and still say no. You can feel unsure and still make the right move for yourself. You don't need all the answers to put yourself first. Because choosing you isn't selfish. It's brave. It's powerful. And sometimes, it's the exact thing that sets everything else in motion. So now, think about it for a second. If you were in Selena's shoes, would you have said yes? It's easy to chase the story that everyone else expects from you. But real courage? It comes from choosing your own story. And those are the stories that matter most. Not the ones people push on you, but the ones you build with purpose. Now we want to hear from you. Your story, your thoughts, your I chose me moment. Because just like Selena, we're all trying to heal, grow, and hold on to peace in a world that never slows down. And sometimes, The most powerful thing you can say is a simple, strong, unforgettable no.